Hey, this is Stacia, and we're back with another training game launching to 2000 or crashing to 1500. I'm not sure which. How many times have I made that joke? Too many times. Okay, so in this game, I faced someone rated 1638. They opened with e4, and I decided I would just play my normal stuff. So e5, knight f3. Okay, so we've got a Spanish opening. I played a6 to ask him if he really wants to take or not. And if you're a beginner, you might be like, well, why would you let them do this? Because, I mean, one of the points of bishop e5 is that you're attacking the knight, which is protecting the pawn. Hence, if that knight's not there, you can capture on e5. Well, that's sort of true. Now, if they do take here and try this, we actually have this nice move, queen d4. And queen d4 attacks the e4 pawn and the e5 knight. I don't see a way to defend both, so they usually just have to drop back with knight f3, which attacks the queen, but then we play check. These positions are actually just fine for black, even slightly better, you could say. And a typical idea now is to play like this. So we had all that was possible. I don't know why it stays lavender after I'm so clearly not in analysis anymore. Okay, but anyway, maybe I am. Oh, I'm not on the analysis board. Maybe that's the problem. Okay, hang on a second. Okay, that's better, right? Okay, turn the engine off. Okay. Much better. So yeah, after a6, though, my opponent decided to simply retreat back to a4. You know, and often they do things like c3 and they tuck the bishop on c2. So I went knight to f6, attacking their pawn. But, you know, once again, I'm not sure it's a good idea to take that pawn. I think maybe you can. It might be called the open Roy Lopez. Let's look at that just to see if I'm right about that. Yeah, this is the open one. So you can play this move. This gets a little complicated at d4. Now that's attacking that twice. And that's still under attack. So b5 is the main move to remove the bishop from that. They go bishop b3, and then black plays d5. Then there's d takes e5. Okay, I don't really like how the black king is still in the center and the position's opening up. I mean, apparently you can play this way, but I feel like you better know what you're doing if you play this way. So, okay. Anyway, in the actual game, I just didn't take the pawn. I played bishop e7. I have this and bishop c5 in my repertoire these days, but bishop e7 means I'm going to try to get the martial attack if I can. So rook e1. And just as a rule of thumb, like once white defends this pawn, you pretty much now have to worry about the threat of them taking on e5. So this actually is a threat now. So we actually play b5. So bishop b3, castles, and I was very happy to see the move c3 because this means we're going to get a martial attack. So the martial attack pretty much goes like this. We go d5, it's a pawn sacrifice. And after takes, c6 to protect the knight. It's kind of unfortunate we have to play that move, but we do. And they went d4. d3 is also a very challenging move, which doesn't look like it should be, but it is. And, okay, and I play bishop d6. Okay, so we are like in the martial attack now. And rook e1 and queen h4. Now I'm threatening to take on h2. So they stopped it with g3. But that lets my queen nestle into the castle position. And bishop e3 was played. Okay, so now as far as I know, bishop e3 is the main line here. And all of this is maybe you call it the old main line, because I know d3 is maybe the modern main line, possibly. Maybe not. And here, I just remember from my repertoire that there's a very strange move after bishop e3. Jan Gustafsson gives this move rook a7 with some really kind of cute ideas. So like, idea number one is that, let's say, how can I make this happen? If they go queen f3, I wonder if I even played this move in the right position. Maybe not. Might have to check. But I was thinking, okay, so like after queen f3, it looks like they're threatening to, win a pawn on d5, and then the queen will be attacking the bishop. What I'm talking about is takes, queen takes, and then they're on the bishop. So like, let's just say I play just a move. Just want to make sure it works. I think rook e8, just getting on the open file. Like if they try this, I think they lose the game, because now we have bishop b7. And unfortunately, if they do take the bishop on d6, our bishop is actually helping us checkmate them on g2. So that would be really unfortunate. I've won several games with this idea. So that's part of the idea behind rook a7. But otherwise, we can just swing the rook over to e7 and double, and probably transpose into several other lines that way. But with this useful move in, like doubling the rooks a little faster, can be very useful. And the bishop remains flexible. So I kind of like this move. And it doesn't look like it's played on chess.com like ever, like barely ever. But it was played 3 times, and black won every time in the master games. So I'm pretty happy to see that. So maybe this is right for all I know. Let's see what the engine says, because it's probably an engine move. Doesn't list it. Yeah, the engine just gives bishop takes d5, c takes d5, and queen f3. It just wants to play like this. This is the engine's way of playing. I have had someone play like this against me. I would probably go, So they can't take the pawn. So I would probably go rook e7. It maintains that idea. And then, of course, the computer is going to see that. But then knight d2. And I guess, white's only like a little better, though. It's like a normal edge for white. It's not like white's just killing it. And so we do have compensation for a pawn. Okay, so anyway, in the game, they chose this move, queen d3, after rook a7. So, and this is a familiar idea, because what they want to do is play queen f1 and challenge my queen. So that's what they're trying to do. And they want to do that before they commit the knight, because if they commit the knight, it blocks them from playing queen d3. Another way to do it is queen f3. They could do that too, I thought. Like, what's wrong with queen f3? Probably not much. So, and then I would probably play bishop g4 and ask them if they want to go to h1, but they would probably go to g2, and then I would go to h5. Okay, and the game would go on. But after queen d3, I decided to play rook e7, because that's part of the idea behind rook a7. And then they played queen f1 as expected, so queen h5 as expected. And now I'm ready to play bishop h3 whenever I want to. And if the queen retreats like this, we have bishop g4. So I thought all of this is looking okay so far. So they played knight to d2, trying to get their piece into the game, which makes a lot of sense. And often this knight can be awfully pesky, especially if the knight makes it to f3. I feel like if the knight lands there comfortably, things start to go wrong for me, I feel like. I could be wrong, but I don't like that knight when he gets active on the king side. Oh, he could also potentially come to f1, so that's another idea that could happen. In the meantime, though, this bishop is looking a little bit sickly, right? Like, he can't move anywhere right now. Like, there's no moves for the bishop. That's just terrible. So I was definitely wondering if I could apply more pressure there or something. I mean, the problem is I can't really pin him because there is sufficient defense of this rook, even if I double. But I did go ahead and double anyway. One reason you might not want to is that sometimes f5 and f4 are moves that you do want to play. And sometimes we just go ahead and like sack the knight there and then take with a rook. And anyway, if you can open up the king side and keep your dark square bishop and this bishop too, things are going to go well for you generally. But I feel like in this position, he always has the option to take that. So I'm not sure how good that plan would work. So I just went with rook f8. Let's just double, you know. And I kind of liked the idea that maybe I'm threatening bishop h3 now, because on queen f2, bishop g4, then the bishop is pinned while the queen is on e2. And I thought that might come in handy. I was kind of right, as you'll see. So they decided to take on d5, which is usually not a good move. Because this pawn structure actually makes it harder for white to advance their majority. Like, so they have a 4 versus 3 over here. I mean, that's basically their extra pawn is this one. And in the endgame, if they can't make a passed pawn and they don't have the two bishops and black does, it's going to be a draw. Like, black can hold those endings even a pawn down. Although I rarely get them. And then knight b3 was played, which feels suspicious to me. Why are they playing this move? I feel like they should try to get the knight to f1, possibly. That just seems like a better idea. The computer gives the move a4. It also gives queen g2. It gives queen g2 h4 as an idea for white, or possibly a4. It's giving. So a4 I don't understand. So let's look at this for a second. A4. So I guess they're trying to just take on b5 and open the rook up on the a file. So we could choose to take the pawn or play b4, but I don't think we should let them just open the a file for nothing. And actually, I think b4 is interesting. I would definitely consider this move, because now if they take, we do get this pin on the knight, and they were unsuccessful in opening the a file, and I feel like black's better. Computer agrees. So they can't really take it. So they would have to just leave that there. And the computer gives like queen e2 now. So, okay, I would play here. And then the computer gives, oh, queen takes a6. I missed that. So I guess one problem with b4 is that we do leave that pawn for free over there. So queen e2 is a little tricky. They're trying to get us to go bishop g4 so they can just take the pawn. Notice how the bishop's protecting it. So, okay, so a4 is interesting. Not an idea that I've seen before. Knight b3, though. And here I go bishop h3, because I do have an idea here. I just need to sort of maneuver my pieces a bit. So I thought here, if he goes queen e2, I go bishop g4. And then he goes queen f1. I could try moves like queen to f5. I could try. and try to get bishop f3 and then push the h pawn. I thought this might be a good plan because we can start to attack this g3 point. And maybe that will start to crack that king side open a little bit. So that was my hope. So they did play here. I went bishop g4, queen f1, and now I did think about f5, and I see the computer really likes it. I played here, always repeat, and then queen f5. Wow, okay, so I see the computer does not like this move. It wanted to play f5. Like right where? Sorry, I'm dancing the pieces around. Hang on a second. Queen f1. I think here. Okay, f5 it wanted to play, so I'm turning the engine off. Let's try to understand this move a little bit. f5. Okay, one thing that I like about this, I was considering f5 earlier. The two reasons I didn't go for it is because at the time, there's still a bishop on b3, and I had to worry about them taking with check. And another thing was that, and actually I just had a knight here, and I think it would have just been pinned. But another thing is, like, I did move my rook away from the f file. I'm not sure that matters that much, so I guess it doesn't. Maybe we're just threatening f5. We're just threatening f5 because if they take with a bishop, I like the pawn structure for us. That would just be terrible. All the light squares are super weak, and they don't have a light square bishop. So I'm going to say we get nice compensation there. And if they just take with the pawn immediately, look how terrible that bishop becomes. And in the meantime, we still have all the same ideas, except now maybe the rooks could use the f file at some point too, possibly. And we could still go for the h5, h4 idea too. So, all right, let's put on what the computer wants to do, because I'm very curious. So like it's saying, I'll just play what I think are normal moves for white, and let's see what happens. Okay, I guess their idea is knight c5, so I'll just play it, because otherwise I don't know why the knight is there. The engine says, okay, bishop h3. Okay, I would play queen e2. The engine says bishop g4. Okay, I would go queen f1. The engine says bishop f3. Okay, this is something I was trying to achieve too. Okay, let's do something reasonable for white. Actually, it's hard. It's getting hard to move. Maybe let's go knight d3. I don't know. Trying to maybe defend a little bit. Wow, and then it gives g5 and says this is like winning for black. g5. It's protected. And it stopped knight f4, which is kind of stopped anyway because we could always take it. And now we're really threatening f4. So I don't know what to do as white anymore. I mean, the computer gives bishop takes g5, but doesn't that just lose a piece? So let's try something else for them that doesn't like immediately lose material. Wow, can't even play this. We got nothing. I'll just make a move, I guess. Maybe I'll try this a4 thing. Just trying to create some counterplay. Now black plays f4, so it carries through with a threat. And then, okay, let's try, I was going to say knight e5, but let's try this, I guess. F takes g3. Yeah, notice we're threatening a couple checks now, and one of them is supported by the bishops. This is not going to be good. So even if they trade rooks, actually, that's just mate. I didn't even notice that's just mate because this bishop. Wow, so this can go wrong for white very quickly. Wow, what a cool idea. That I'll probably make a flashcard of this f5 move because I want to understand ideas like this. I think it will just help my middle gameplay. Okay, so back to the game. After knight b3, here, I went with this queen f5 idea. Still a little better for a black, which is what I thought too. And they went with knight c5, which I thought might be a blunder. So I came up with what I thought was a winning idea here. So if you want to pause your video and see if you can find it, go ahead and do so now. Okay, so I'm not totally sure the computer's going to give the same thing. But I took, and after takes, I just played queen e4. Like, how is this not winning? I feel like it's just winning. I mean, I could even play d4. I think it's possible. They could play c takes d4, but then queen. Ooh, queen d5 would be an option as well, leaving this pin. I could even maybe take that, I'm not sure, but yeah, and f3 doesn't look very pleasant because on f3 we just take. We've got too many attackers on that. So I had the same idea without d4. I just played this right away and I was like, okay, what do they do here? The bishop is pinned. I'm threatening mate. There's no queen f1. Like, what do they do? And on f3, I just take the bishop. So they play bishop f4, but that just... I could have checkmated. I should have checkmated. I didn't even do that. I just took the queen. I don't know why I didn't checkmate. And then they resigned here. So there was no way out of that. So I'm happy to see that that did win after all. I played this move really fast and this move really fast. So I should have thought for more than 1 second because I could have just did checkmate. Small detail. But I'm pretty happy with this game. So I'm going to now ask the computer to do its analysis on it. If you want to stick around, just the game review. I'll go ahead and expand this so that you guys can see also. And then we'll do the celebratory moving of the rocket ship. Every time I win a game, I like to do that. So, okay, it looks like I didn't play great by any means, but halfway decent. I had one mistake, one blunder. So if we just do the review, I actually do like this feature on chess.com. Okay, this is all a book, which I knew. Rook a7, it says, is inaccurate. Okay, but I'm pretty sure this is my repertoire move, and I'm pretty sure strong engines recommend this. So this engine isn't strong enough. So I'm not even going to count that as inaccurate. Okay, so it says retry. You can connect the rooks. Okay, I would go here. Is that what it wants? Yeah, it's a book move. Okay, now let's continue. Okay, it says bishop h3 is a great move. I don't know about all that. That's just normal. Okay, and then how do we keep going? Bishop g4 is great. Yeah, okay. I don't think so. Okay, queen f5 was a mistake. Yeah, I actually think that f5 idea, that would have been a great move. This move is a mistake. So they're saying there's only one good move. I overlooked a chance to block an attack on a vulnerable piece. I guess it wants bishop g4 with the idea of f5. That's my guess. Yeah, bishop g4 is best. And if we show the moves, it's going to include f4, I bet. Or f5, I mean. Yeah, f5. And yeah, it wants this. This is a big advantage for, a huge advantage for black. Okay. Yeah, because we're going to do that g5, f4 thing. And it's just too strong. It's just fascinating to me. Okay, so next. Yeah, and then that was it. Queen takes e2 is a blunder because I had checkmate. That makes sense. But still, this is so winning. I can't even call that a blunder. I mean, I call that inaccurate because I'm winning. I mean, I'm very winning here. I guess a mistake. I don't know. So I actually feel really good about this game now because I don't think Queen f5. I mean, even though it is a mistake because it passes up that very strong f5, f4 idea, if that was my worst move of the game, in my estimations, then I played a pretty decent game. Yeah, I like that chess.com provides the annotations, but I don't agree with them all the time. The engine's on low and chess.com, you know, like these great moves are just normal, so I'm not going to count those. Those are just normal. You play those every game, you know, in a martial attack. And anyway, I don't want this video to take forever, so I guess we're done. So let's move the rocket ship. I was actually under 1600, or under 1700 rather, before this game. So really what I need to do is adjust the background, maybe add another planet or a moon, a 1700 moon, because I have been to 1800 before and I fell down quite a bit and I'm climbing back up now. There are a lot of games I lost like in a row. I just had a bad streak. But now we're going to get back to 1800. I don't think it's going to be too difficult. And I have a lot more time to focus on chess. So I think that is going to help a lot. I'm not going to have to just play exhausted, you know, be fresh for these games. Alrighty. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video and I'll be back with more. So I'll see you next time. Bye.